warmly welcome you all. I warmly welcome you all on behalf of Law Chemi. I am Jia Javrani, your host for today's webinar. We are truly delighted to have you all with us for this important session on women's rights. As we all know, women's rights are not just a matter of law, they are the foundation of justice, dignity, and freedom. Despite India's progressive legal framework, many women continue to face challenges such as domestic violence, harassment, and systemic inequality. Today's session is designed to shed light on these presenting issues and, more importantly, to explore the legal remedies, real life challenges, and empowerment strategies that can help women claim their rightful space in society. We are deeply honored to have with us a very inspiring guest speaker, Advocate Yasmin Wankhede ma'am. She is a distinguished lawyer, activist, and social reformer with a mission to empower women and marginalized communities. With over 5 years of legal experience, she specializes in cases relating to the protection of children from sexual offenses, rape matters, domestic violence, anticipatory bail, and family law. She is the founder of Wankhede Legal and Law Consultants, a full service law firm in Mumbai, serving corporates, financial institutions, government bodies, and individuals. Beyond her professional achievement, she is the founder of Durga NGO, which provides free legal aid, counseling, and welfare support for women and children. Also, she serves as the national president of Kaidi Sudhar Welfare Foundation, working for the rights of prisoners trapped in false cases. Her remarkable work has earned her so many numerous recognitions, including the Dada Saheb Phalke Icon Award, Swarna Award, Best Criminal Defense Lawyer Award, She Award, Certificate of Appreciation from Human Rights International Federation, and so many more, making her one of the most respected voices in the field of women's right and criminal law. We are privileged to learn from her insights today, and I'm sure this session will leave each one of us so much informed, inspired, and empowered. Without any further ado, let's just welcome her and Advocate Wankhede ma'am to share her thoughts and expertise with us. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. I hope all are ready for the session. So here we are starting to talk about women empowerment, women right. I hope everybody is audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. All right. So basically, I will start with saying that our Indian Constitution is the only constitution which is pro-women. It only speaks about women right. And we speak about women right because probably 70% are women who are only literate in this country. It's according to the survey done in 2015 to 2025. So we deal with a lot of illiteracy. We deal with a lot of uncivil sense. People are, they are unknown about legalities, and especially women on their side. So while speaking about women right and while speaking about women law and their responsibilities, we speak from the Constitution, the right of Article to equality, Article 14, Article 15, Article 16, Article 21, everything's Article, the Dowry Act, the Domestic Violence Act of 2015, the acid attacks, and while talking about every section, it's a huge constitution that provides us about the safety of the woman, which is working on the workplace, that is POSH, POXO. We're talking about women, the Maturity Act, the Maternity Act, which allows and gives us holidays on our periods. And while she is pregnant, there is a quite a lot of holidays which are provided to the women for nursing during her vacation period. And the whole constitution talks about women, Then there is Domestic Violence Act, which a lot of people are debatable about. There are a lot of debates about alimonies that I see nowadays. There are DV Violent Act and the Dowry Act. Yes, it has been misused and it has been a problem. But we still have that law, very stringent. And there are a lot to talk about women in this field. Our Indian government is, the Indian constitution has given a lot of right to the woman. It's just that the women don't realize how powerful they are. And I would like to start a question and answer session because I enjoy it. So everybody leave their speakers off and come up with their questions so that they can understand what they have in their mind so I can answer them. Because when I see clients coming up to me, literally they are, you're out of the police station because the police here is not sitting to entertain you. The police is for emergency. When you go with those matters of your husband or your personal matters, the police doesn't entertain you. You have to understand where the helpline is. You have to understand whom to reach before it is late. I need people to understand that the police and the lawyers do not work the same, but but in the same manner they can go and file the FIR under 175 section number 3. They can file an FIR. They can do the same work as the police does. They don't have to wait. The lawyers move the same way, and we need to be responsible about ourselves. I need everyone to open their speakers and ask me questions which they are having doubts about. That would be a more interacting session than me only going and speaking and talking about our rights. In fact, on the international forum, the ladies which are also staying abroad are given a provision under the Act of the Equal Remuneration Act. It has been given the right that a woman who's staying in foreign country also can come up and fight for her rights in India if she's married in India. Of course, if she's married in India, the national policy, which was commenced on 2016 at 2016, which also gives you the right of addressing the woman who's staying in foreign country. So we have a lot of things which are not known by the women even staying abroad. So right now I want everybody to open the speakers and ask me questions that they want to. Yes? Then there are other legal provisions under the Child Marriage Act. Then there is rape under the Juvenile Act. Now, that is also a contrary question itself. It depends upon your religion. If you're less than 18, under the Sharia law, it is allowed. Under the Hindu Marriage Act, it is not allowed. Then we talk about provision of Child Marriage Act 2060 of 2006, which protects the underage girls. There are a lot and lot if you go and well, let us speak about Maternity Benefit Act 1961, which is amended in 1961, which gives you 26 weeks of paid maternity leave for a woman employed in the establishment. Okay, there's a lie. You are rightfully allowed for the bonus, nursing breaks, and protection from dismissal from your company. Then, when we talk about DV, domestic violence, there are three kinds of domestic violence I would like to say. One is physical, one is verbal, and one is mental. It's cruelty. So there are three crimes you can stand up for. The domestic violence act, which people do not know. And usually you walk out in a police station and you say you've hit by your husband. They literally do not know that there is mental, then there is verbal harassment is also cruelty. You are liable to file a case on the grounds of cruelty. And then when we talk about rape, yes, sir. Yes, because it's a long section and we talk about, I think I have covered up all the broad spectrums that we have, that our justice system has given us a wonderful justice system which has given our women so many rights. My only pleading is to women out there is do not go and file false cases. Because right now our Supreme Court judgment has just given a say that 498 has been mishandled, misused by the women to irritate men. This was the judgment of the Supreme Court. Now, in this scenario, well, the real victims are never given justice. It is a torture to the real victim. So kindly, women, do not do that. Do not post false cases, rape cases, because it's just that you're hurting your other mates. The justice is slow. Each of my seminars and our lectures, I always say that the women please refrain it because the real women are not getting the justice here. And do not use this as a tool for your fraudulent cases. Now, I would like everybody to open their speakers and ask me whatever questions they can to clear off any kind of mindset.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, dear.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, can Domestic Violence Act be made gender neutral? As you have said that women are misusing the laws.
Yes.
So, what will be the steps, ma'am? We should right away make it gender neutral, or we have to make some uh, rigidity to the law that there should be some flexibility given to the men in these laws.
Kajal, first of all, if there is
Yes,
any kind of false accusations, you have the truth, you have the evidences. You should present that evidences and your accountability, and then the court is quite clever enough. See, the procedure will be followed anyways, but your side should be strong. You show up with the evidences, you show up with the factual facts, and there will be definitely amendments, there will be definitely evidences, there will be definitely some kind of things which will be given, and you will get the justice. We Indians have started following a pattern which says that we do not get justice, which is completely wrong on the side.
and
I
also
have got
there is,
maintenance for men,
yeah,
which literally people do not go. Do we people know that even men are allowed maintenance?
yes, ma'am.
And in such cases where a man is disabled, he's not earning enough, the woman pays him if she's earning. We do not know because we do not read.
Ma'am, but in cases of domestic violence, there is a social stigma attached to it that people will
That's a
try to
stigma
make
attached. There where you say it's a
yeah,
stigma attached. So we have to take out that stigma. We have to go ahead, give your evidences, prove it that it is false. There is no such domestic violence. And if anybody threatens you, do one thing. Just go to a lawyer and send a legal notice. Make them aware that I am not scared. I'm not scared of the accusations. You prove it because I know I am truthful. I'll stand for it. You go to the police station, write an acknowledgement letter, send it to the police station, take one copy to yourself and take one copy to, and give one copy to the officer. Write an NC, inform the police that I have been tortured by my wife and all the accusation which she is accusing me of, alleging me of, is false. That is the step that you should take. And you should stand with your evidences and your factual corrections. and that you should actually go to the. You can. There is a lot of help. It's just that you have to stand and just not think. Okay, in my profession, I have seen men waiting that okay, she's going to file a domestic violence case. Okay, I'll wait for it. No, you can't wait in law. Law has only one simple rule: the one who's tortured walks first. It's like emergency. The one who is the one who is tortured walks first. So you should walk towards the law, regarding of your bias being a gender or a non being gender bias. You can walk. Whoever is in trouble can take the remedy of the law. So write everywhere. Send one acknowledgement letter to the police station. Send one legal notice to her. Safeguard your rights by saying that I am, I am accused. I am, literally tortured every day with this domestic violence accusations, and then you can clarify that in the court. That I told already to the court that I was scared of it. It helps a lot. Any more questions?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but there are some participants yet to join. Can we keep the Q&A session at the end?
You want me to talk about what topic? Because literally it's a very broad spectrum. You want me to talk about domestic violence? The Dowry Prohibition Act?
Ma'am, I had a doubt. May I?
Yes, dear.
Hello?
Yes, dear.
Ma'am, I just wanted to know that there are fake cases in India against the men, like as you
Yes.
said. So how
Yes.
to defend, like as a lawyer, if as I'm an aspirant right now, and I'll join law school tomorrow. My admission is done right now. So
Very
if I
good.
become a lawyer and if I want to go into the criminal field, and if a client comes to me stating the fact that he's a male and there is a fake case against him against rape charges, so how to defend him? Because there are no laws for the men. Like there are very limited laws. You can say that.
Yes, sadly. Sadly. We in
Yeah.
future, I hope, will work upon it.
Okay.
But right now, the only remedy is that procedures has to be followed strictly. So when once now the rule goes like this is once anybody at any moment when a woman says she's raped due to the increasing, also you cannot deny the fact that we are the first country which is ranking first in rape cases, right? So
Yes, that's
the
true.
law says that whenever a woman enters in a police station and she accuses a man of rape, there is no question, no investigation. There is directly an FIR filed on the person. So the first remedy is go and get yourself an ABA. The man has to go and get itself an anticipatory bail first. And after he getting an
Okay.
anticipatory bail, take the whole evidences, the truth, make your document very strong that you should know the time the FIR was filed, the accused, the timing of the filing, the accusations, and every small details, the alibis, every small details should be noted down, and then they should rush to the High Court and get the quashing petition filed and quash the matter.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Um, Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I have one question and basically a little bit of kind of query that
Yeah. Tell me.
while we are talking about this gender discrimination and women's right, why don't we address the points with respect to the Muslim women, man? Since what I can see, there are so many practices like the practices of halala is going on, the property rights in the Muslim to the Muslim women's, and with respect to the divorce, ma'am, there are so much huge discrimination with respect to Muslim women, especially, ma'am. Why don't we address at any point of time to those issues rather than talking about other, ma'am? Because I have been lot of webinars, seminars, but at any point of time, I hardly see anybody speaking about that why women in the Muslim community are not getting equal shares. Why they are getting, why they are still the practices of halala is still existing in India, ma'am, which is, I guess, very, you can say, ma'am, destroying the dignity of a woman. That before she can remarry, she has to sleep with some other person, and then he can divorce. And also with respect to, ma'am, divorce laws, since we have Article 15, which empowers women, rather than making divorce provision equally, why are we not talking about those issues, ma'am?
Who is not talking about those issues, Lucy?
Ma'am, how many times? Okay, if you are saying that, ma'am, nobody is talking about, ma'am.
Lucy, let's answer your question like this.
Okay,
When you talk about halala,
yes, ma'am.
okay, it is also not one side, it's two sides. Why does the woman refuse? Why doesn't the woman refuse being a Muslim that I will not undergo this law? Why doesn't she pick up the land of the law of the land? She will walk out to the court. She will say, I am not going to follow Sharia law. I am going to the court and file it out. Why doesn't she say? Why doesn't she stand? She is the one who's doing the halala. Why can't women take a step ahead and say, I am not going to follow the Sharia law. I am not going to sleep to define myself in another woman, man, or, go under such practices. And I deny such practices and I will go to the court of law where I will get justice. And let me tell you, Luffy, there is a lot of women who have walked to the court instead of some, instead of some Mufti Maulanas and everybody. They say, I will go to the court. The law of land will follow me. And Mr. Modi ji has done wonderful work with saying three talaqs is a ban. And once a man gives three talaq, he is imprisoned for 4 or 7 years. And
Okay,
next, that is the reason we all should talk about UCC.
right, ma'am. See, the
We
point is
all,
that,
but the problem here is if we enter into anything like UCC, there are scare of communal right, collateral damage, which I don't think so anybody, any authorities are interested in. Once we talk about the UCC, there are rights. They say no interference, do not interfere in a religion. That is the reason we are still confused between an 18-year-old marriage, a 14-year-old marriage, because the
exactly.
religion allows them. And then when we interfere, it is like 14 years old got raped. No, it is not rape because it is practice. It's a culture. So it is very important, or in any webinar, I'm not scared of anybody. So I will speak up that we should have a UCC code
Okay,
for
ma'am.
everybody. Rather
Just,
leave the
ma'am,
religion. We are staying in India and we should be Bharatiya.
just, ma'am.
Regardless of your religion, regardless of whatever you are, under one hand, under one roof.
I certainly agree with your point, ma'am. Just one little thing which I would like to highlight, ma'am. Like you
And
have said that,
who told you that the woman under the Sharia law, that
yes,
she
ma'am.
has to follow Sharia law? Who told you that?
Ma'am,
You know
if you
what? I'll
want
tell
to,
you, there are women who are fighting for their right, got equal rights of property, and there are rarely very few who still go under this Sharia Act. They come up to the court, they fight for the equal right as being a woman, and they get it.
point number one, which I would like to make, ma'am, since you are saying that how can they go, I will come to this thing. But just like to add you that how our judiciary is also doing their job. Like last month, ma'am, last or
Lucy, do
last
you
last,
want the judiciary to have a communal right? No.
ma'am,
If
whether
you speak
communal
about
rights are
UCC,
better
Madhya
than
Pradesh, for example, I'll tell you, Madhya Pradesh has been first state that has opened UCC to them. So we should be always acceptable, right? If we move our one hand, there are going to be communal rights.
ma'am, I guess Supreme Court judges are not feel pressure from the community that the Supreme
No,
Court
dear,
itself
it's
said, ma'am.
just you feel it. We are all upon the UCC law. It's
And
that just it's a collateral damage. Tomorrow there will be communal rights. How would you help them? They come up saying they don't interfere in our law.
okay, with
So that
respect to
is the
that
main
point,
reason that helps us behind not to interfere in their nikah, not to interfere in their marriages, not to interfere in their will. They want it that way. And the woman is not stopped. The woman should stand up and she'll say, I'm not going to follow this Sharia law. I want to go to the court.
Okay, let's, ma'am. Recently, a 16 or 15-year-old girls got married with a Muslim man as per the Muslim law. Now we have Prevention of Child Marriage Act. So basically, below 18 year of age, minor cannot marry, ma'am. It is held void and also punishable. Now, with respect to that thing, ma'am, Punjab and Haryana High Court upheld its validity. Now the same being challenged by the National Commission of Women to the Supreme Court that, sir, we have PCMA Act which prevents a minor from being married, and it being a secular law and special law should prevail over the general law. So why can't you declare void this marriage, ma'am? Supreme Court outrightly rejected the petition. That institution did not hear. So how can we say that these rights are being talking out, even though you go ahead one step demanding their rights, ma'am? Does not the Supreme Court aware about that fact that marriage with respect to minors are causing so much psychological problem? And on the top of that, ma'am, in Hindu Marriage Act, we do not have void marriage if the two Hindus are married below 18 years of age. They have, it is the valid marriage, however it is punishable, but under Hindu Marriage Act it is not at all void or voidable. Now while two Hindus can marry, but Supreme Court in that case outrightly punish the boy and on the top of it declare marriage as void. How can you say that Supreme Court is doing a right thing, ma'am, when
Mr.
it is the case
Luffy,
just two
Mr.
months two
Luffy,
months back, ma'am?
I'll tell you, I'll tell you why. Mr. Luffy, first of all, under the Hindu Marriage Act, minors are not allowed to get married. So if the minors get married, it is punishable. Okay.
Ma'am,
So
it is
it is
punishable,
punishable
but it
because
is
there is a
valid
law
marriage.
for it under the
Yes,
Hindu
ma'am.
Marriage Act. And I have answered the first question. Moving on to
Ma'am,
your second question,
okay.
moving on to the second question, that why aren't other religion subjected to the same kind of treatment? Because the other religion have their own system. They have given by the constitution their right to practice their own religion under their right of freedom of Article 21. Then again, it's a contradictory judgment. And places like Rajasthan, Haryana, not only Muslim cultures.
But send me dal pakwan and pav bhaji.
Every Sunday I eat dal pakwan.
From where you buy?
So, I'm sorry. So, it is not under only
He's there.
Muslims, but it is also Haryana, Rajasthan, and other places where this has been practiced. Child marriages are Indians, cultures from decades and decades. It is thank God to the Constitution of India who decided to stop such practices of minor marriage. But it is prevailing in the urban, in the rural areas. Well, going to the topic that why is it not stopped? Again, the same question comes up that whenever something like this
Sundays
goes
are
on,
quite boring, no? Sundays are
every,
boring.
I'm sorry. So the judges come up. The judges come up with any kind of good judgment. There is a stock of people. The stock of people with different religion, they start fighting. The most thing our government and the constitution avoids is to have rights. We don't want communal right in our country, which is a collateral damage to every person. So these people keep it aside to just not have a collateral damage and let them follow, the community follow their own religion.
So basically, ma'am, with respect to avoiding one wrong, we are doing the another wrong, and we are justifying that
So
thing.
you want different people, different communities to fight with each other? Yes, in
Ma'am,
future we are going to see another beautiful change in the constitution with the UCC law. But for now, we are just at least preparing the mindset of the people.
At least, ma'am, my whole point which I am trying to make is that with respect to Sharia law,
I do understand your point,
nobody
but you
can.
have only seen the other side. You only talk about the judges, you talk about the Supreme Court, but you do not know why is not capital punishment given to the people who rape and who kill. Do you understand why? Because there are such false cases of rape. And if we decide to give capital punishment to each and everybody, how many innocent lives are going to be killed? So that is the same perception goes to this. I hope I have cleared my point.
Yes, ma'am, you did well, but my whole point is that nobody dares to touch the Sharia point. That is
It
my
is not that nobody dares to touch the Sharia point. There are a
even
lot
the
of
Supreme,
there are
ma'am,
lot,
even the
Supreme
Supreme Court afraid
there,
to do so.
there are a lot of advocates in the Supreme Court filing a PIL about it, but we just want to not increase or we don't at the situation with unemployment and with poverty. We are fighting with all those. We don't want another communal right to happen. We are
I
just
guess
preparing people's mindset, and one day I'm sure it will happen.
I guess, ma'am, same how the Hindu Marriage Act came into the picture, that whole of the Hindu communities started agitation when
Hope
it
and
was built.
faith.
So
Hope and
these
faith is
things,
something that we expect, and one day it will happen.
so it's just the my point is just that, ma'am, whenever we address such kind of issue, always there will be a backlash. Even the ma'am, this maintenance case of uh, uh, 1987, I guess, which one is Shahbano Begum case, ma'am.
Yes.
That even one simple case agitated lots of Muslim ma'ams. So the point is that, and the legislature, that is Rajiv Gandhi government, brought up the same act to nullify the Supreme Court judgment. So how can we expect not
Sir,
from the
there are
Supreme Court?
thousand lawyers have filed an appeal. They have filed PIL, and we'll definitely, in future, hope to see a bright future for us. Right now, I would only say this: I'm a
I,
pessimistic lawyer, and I feel that there will be something about it very soon. Once the UCC is over our judiciary system, every problem will get solved. And we are very near it.
uh, I hope so, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your time, ma'am.
Thank you. So let's talk about the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. Recently, there was a case in Delhi which the woman was burnt alive. Now, why do we only have candle marches? I don't understand. Why do we only have a candle march, or we will talk about a person when she's a victim? Why can't we do it before? There are certain things that has to be regarded with the Dowry Act. First of all, we should stop addressing and gifting the opposite party. We should be quite clear that we are only going to be married and there is no going to be taking and giving session. And we should not put greediness into the mind of people. And definitely the parents should stop treating their daughters as some, like, she's a outer party, she'll go one day. We love our daughters and we protect them, we love them, we educate them. Stop selling your daughters. I would only say one thing: stop selling your daughters. And let them be at home and get educated, and do not give them, izzat rahegi, kya bolenge, relatives, what will they say? So stop thinking about that, before it's too late. Definitely the parents are the one. When we don't speak anything, the parents come to know that we are hungry. So definitely when there is a cause in the family, they know that the daughter is in a problem. So before that, ask your daughters, either you've been hit, either you have been going through some kind of, trauma, and do please refer to them and help them instead of just keeping a silence. And there is strong provisions for Dowry Act. So it is punishable up to a life imprisonment. So it is request to the parents that please take care of this, because they are the ones who know it before it is going to happen. It's just that they are quiet. due to the pressure of the society. So do not do that. We do not want to have candle march. We want to save the girls. That is a recent sad incidents that happened, and it was done in front of the sun. So I would like to tell everybody, don't start gifting cars and money. It's your daughter. You're gifting your old daughter. What do you want more? ये प्रथाएं तोड़ो. वक्त आ गया है कि आप प्रथाएं तोड़ो अब. And about rape, be quite open. There are a lot of NGOs, lot of police stations, everybody. It is your right to go upon, and you just register and nobody can say a no. In fact, if somebody refuses to accept the allegations of rape, that officer will be rusticated if you complained under the Maharashtra Police Act. So just do not come back, just do not think about anybody and stand for yourself. It is only going to happen when you stand for yourself. If you're going to be quiet, and I want to also address this issue, which comes to me very often, that the children, basically aged around 13 to 15, they are sexually harassed with their own relatives, with their own friends, with their own family, which is a very disgusting act. And the girls here, the poor victim, they are scared to talk about it. As if, it is portrayed by the parents as if they are the victim. Please do not think like this. Ask for help. There are NGOs very near about. There are legal guidances. And there are a lot of help, legal help provided by the government, provided by the constitution. Reach out for help as soon as possible before it gets too late. And let us talk a little about the Maternity Benefit Act 1961, which was amended later on in 2017. When you're pregnant, you have to just inform your workplace, and they give you 26 weeks of paid maternity leave for women. Okay. And later on, they are even bounded to give you the medical bonus, nursing breaks, and protection from dismissal during pregnancy. Nobody, no company can dismiss you saying that you're pregnant. No constitution, no running educational constitution or institution can remove you, giving you the reason that you're pregnant. So last time I had a case speaking about, there was an air hostess which got pregnant. And I wouldn't, of course, name the agencies, but they are not allowed, they had to get her back. So addressing the Maternity Benefit Act, which was amended in 2017, is very, very, very beneficial for women. It's just that you have to know your right. There maybe a lot of people do not know about, we do not speak this. This is Equal Remuneration Act, which was made in 1976, which says equal pay for equal work, regardless of the gender. So if anybody is facing this kind of issue that the men are paid and the women are not paid, so you can file or register under Equal Remuneration Act, which gives you the power to get equally paid like a man. And while speaking about internationally, the women who stay abroad, they can file a FIR now. The latest judgment, they can file an FIR from the place they are to their nearest jurisdiction, to the jurisdiction they stay in India. whoever has gone to the foreign countries and facing domestic violence or any kind, they can file a direct FIR by email. They can email either NCW, National Commission of Women, Delhi, Mumbai, Maharashtra. They can file it under any police station of their jurisdiction. This is something very new, that a woman who's staying in a foreign country, so they are allowed to file an FIR in the NCW, National Commission of Women, and to any police station. And then there is a new law which is coming, which is called as Zero FIR. I hope that every woman has heard about it. First, there was jurisdictions where address you stay, which Aadhaar card says that describes wherever you stay. So now there is a Zero FIR that you can just walk in any police station and you can file an FIR. So that is the government that has got with us with the BNS law, which is a wonderful law. And it allows you to file a Zero FIR regardless of your jurisdiction. Anything happening anywhere, just walk into the police station and file an FIR of anything wrong against you. So this was the new BNS law, which says there is no jurisdiction. A Zero FIR can be filed anywhere, anytime, because they have understood that a crime is a crime, apart from anywhere it is happening. Apart from, I'm sure that people haven't heard about the international commitments, which in India is a very important country and is a signatory. There is conventions of eliminations of all form of discrimination, which is known as CEDAW. You can write to it when you have a problem, and which talks about gender equality. There is an act on Acid Attack Act also, which we also ignore a lot. There are acid attack victims, which we do not talk about. Only in the case when somebody is dead, we come up with the candles. But when people are alive, we do not talk about those topics. Just be aware of it. How to be aware is inform the police, inform your parents, file an NC, a non-cognizable offense, write to the police, take an acknowledgement letter, give them an acknowledgement letter, and just be safe. Keep everybody informed. Talk about it. The women don't talk about it. So now we can open the session of question and answer. And one important topic is a POSH Act, prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces. So you can just come up with this and you can just, it's a very strong act where there is a lot of the provisions given by the government. It is a POSH Act which is spoken everywhere. I think there is a woman who's appointed, a lawyer who's appointed in every workplace, and then they are questioned in every 6 months. Any complaints, we don't have to wait. Actually, we just have to move. Now, can people just open up with their question answers?
Ma'am, can you elaborate on Equal Remuneration Act more? Because what I have found that in teams where they are doing same kind of work, but on the basis of experience, the salary varies. So how there and it happens over a lot of organizations. I have worked with many organizations. So how this can be handled?
Uh, who is asking me that? May I know the name? Kapil?
Samir Parab.
Samir Parab. Samir Parab, this is when you're talking about experiences, I think it happens everywhere. A person who's of 10 years old experience gets paid more and a person of 2 years experience get paid less? You're talking about that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But the work profile is same.
Sir, that is upon the experience. It doesn't happen only in law, it happens in every sector. Experience matters. So a
Means,
person, you want to say the person who is practicing for 15 years is equivalent to a person who's just practicing for 2 years?
so then how equal remuneration on what basis then?
I am talking about Equal Remuneration Act 1976, which says that even if you have a 10 years old practice and I have a 10 years old practice, we both are standing on an equal ground. And then also, I am paid less because I'm a woman, and he's paid more because he's a man. At that pertaining situation, I would say then this act is valid. There are a lot of places where they say, okay, this case is going to be handled by a man. This case is going to be handled by, he's going to get paid this much, and they are paid, more than a woman, and the working part is equal. Then there is a problem. If a person has the same experience of work and she is paid less, or gender bias we can speak about, he's paid less or she's paid less, the only matter is of same experience, sir.
Okay, got it, ma'am. Ma'am, another question. In case of there is a special law and a personal law, like most of the cases, what will prevail, the special law or the personal law? Because what we have observed from the precedents, that whenever the court gives some decision on the basis of specialized law, the parliament passes some amendment, do the amendments, and make the judgment nullified.
ये ऐसी प्रैक्टिस है जो वुमेन के सम्मान को बिल्कुल नष्ट कर देती है। ट्रांसलेट इन इंग्लिश।
आई अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी मैडम, मैं हिंदी में भी बात कर सकती हूँ। आपका which sir is talking to me? I would,
Again, Samir Parab, I was asking the question, ma'am.
sir, overall the government is the one who decides. Overall the constitution is the one who decides. Overall is the CGI who decides. We can only be presentable and quite standable for the cause that we feel it's correct. But after all, we have a superior power that we cannot go against, but we can still always try. But the ma'am who just said something in between, I would like to refer her. What did she mean? That destroys the complete thing of the woman. Madam, can you just come up and say what did you actually mean? जिसने अभी हिंदी में बात की फिलहाल? Yes, Mr. Samir, tell me.
Yeah, ma'am, I got your answer, ma'am. About
That we cannot go across, but we can always try. How do we get landmark judgments? We get landmark judgments by fighting, by proving, by showing them this is not right and this is wrong. Definitely landmark judgments जैसे मिलते हैं, वैसे ही हम एक ना एक दिन जो भी सही गलत है उसका फायदा we will get one day there. That is, हर जगह होता है. There are loops in our judiciary system. So we will one day, hopefully, we all will make it, will make it complete. People like you and me will stand and ask why. And there will be a landmark judgment passing for it. So I only say, be pessimistic, fight for the right thing, and go ahead putting it in front of the Supreme Court wherever we lack and completing our judiciary. We can do it. Only we can do it because we speak and we stand up. I'm not reading the charts which are sent to me. I'm sorry. So they can come up and open their voice and speak. Because I'm getting chats which I'm not reading. So kindly come up, speak. Speak up. That's our main important issue. We Indian don't speak up. That where we have a problem, we have to open our mouth. जरूरी है बात करना, लड़ना अपने हक के लिए जरूरी है, हर औरत के लिए, हर आदमी के लिए. And we have to respect the judiciary system, because the superiors are having a lot of more experience than us. Definitely, if we feel what is right, we have to put forward and get landmark judgments. That is how landmark judgments are made. By questioning that what is correct and what is incorrect. Okay, should we start with the questions? Because I think 15 minutes are left. I'm sorry if I offended anybody. But at the end, I would just like to say that our constitution is very strong. I have studied international law. I have personally been to European nation, but our Indian constitution is the best. It is the biggest and the largest constitution. It has remedies for all, and it has special acts for women. They have treated it is a pro-woman law, and women shouldn't come. And if they are real victims, they shouldn't be quiet. There are remedies for everything. There is no gender biasness that I see. At the same time, when there is media, which is become nowadays a media trial, which you can say, which we are affected from. But we should think from our heads. Just seeing the news, one day a person is hit in the drum, a man is killed, okay, the woman becomes a big problem. The second day, when a woman is burnt in dowry, then the man becomes a big problem. Every individual open their eyes and see with a complete equality. Do not follow media trials. Media is doing their TRP. We should follow law. We should see, keep it is our eyes open both the sides. ये सही है, ये गलत है, ये book है. मेरे right क्या है, follow करो. What is the constitution given you? If a false case is implicated, how I'm going to file against it? How I'm going to fight against it? ना ही कि आप कोई पंखों पे चढ़ जाओ. Don't give up. The thing is that we give up very soon. Don't give up. Stand for your right. हम वैसे ही मरने वाले. We're going to die. Why to have a failure life and die? Stand for a right and fight. We are given supports from every side. If anybody wants to talk about any of the topics, we have covered up almost national policy for women. That is also given under 2016 an act. We have spoken about the Maternity Beneficial Act. We have spoken about rapes. That is almost spoken everywhere. We have spoken about the Dowry Prohibition Act under 1961. We have spoken about the POSH Act, the sexual harassment of women at workplaces, how to prevent it, how to redress it. We have spoken about DV Act 2005, that there are three kinds of domestic violence act. That is verbal, physical, and mental. It's cruelty at all corner. Article 42 provides us the conditions of the women who are staying at the workplaces. It can be complained under that act. The right to life and liberty is given to women under Article 21, to men and women both. The gender based violence is harassment, exploitation. Then we have covered up Article 16, the equality of opportunity in public employment. It is rather, there is no discrimination. We have spoken about Article 15, prohibition of discrimination. You're not allowed to discriminate on the first place. And then we talk about Article 14, the right of equality. It's all about women right.
Ma'am, what can be done for lack of awareness? Like there are so many women who are not aware of their rights and they're not even familiar with the technology in rural areas. Like what can be done for that?
For that, there are certain NGOs that I see working in the rural areas. We can walk in the rural areas, we can talk about it, and there are a lot of government policies which have come up. They go, Mr. Ravindra, stop yawning. That makes my webinar very boring. Please leave if you feel bored. All my regards. I know women topic are really boring, but I'm trying to make it as peppy as I can. So I'm like seeing you for quite a long time that you've been yawning. Like, yeah, you are really not interested in women, right? But then you have to listen. Let's debate on something that Mr. Ravindra doesn't feel boring about.
Ma'am, you represented in international law, so
Yes,
like how to reach there? Like for the beginner, like I'm just a student right now.
sure. I asked
So
this question to the judge there. To the main judge is an Indian, and I was surprised that our International Court of Justice has having an Indian judge. And I addressed him. I asked him, "Sir, how can we reach here?" He just told me two things. Who asked me this? Who's the sweet girl? May I know her name?
uh, my name is Pearl.
Pearl. First
Uh,
of all, you have to complete your LLB, get a degree,
okay.
and you have to be very fluent in French.
Okay.
As we have English and Hindi and Marathi and different local languages, in international law, they only use French as a legal language. So you should be well versed with French. And then you should go, and there are sites that are given for an international internship. You should go and put on your CV there, and you can file, and they will call you with and when they call you, they even provide you with staying and all cost, and they give you some amount of euros, I think 300 for your living cost, and start internship in the International Court of Justice. But you should do, regardless, the two things, you should be very fluent in French.
Okay, but I don't know French. Like, so first I need to learn it and then go.
Of
Or I
course,
can just apply for as an intern. I can apply with English, or I need
if
to
you
know
do
French.
not know French, you're not allowed.
Okay, so that's okay, fine.
So you see, if somebody comes up, can an Italian or a German practice in India? No. You need to know the language of their country, and and later on you have to get a PR, a permanent resident, out there to practice in the Court of Justice. And there is a law in India, then you have to get a permission under that law, and you can go from India. But the only one thing that the judge said, the Honorable Mr. Judge said, that you have to be fluent in French, because there are a lot of French companies come for international mediations, and there are different countries which come up, but only the legal language is, as we have English in the high courts, there is only French. So you have
Okay.
to get French. Just learn French and fly, taking your degree and applying it on. There are websites you can apply for internships there.
So even in the internship, I need to know French. So
Yes,
that's not
yeah, you have
like
to
then I
learn.
can just go with English and then it's fine.
No,
French is the
ma'am.
basic language.
No,
Okay.
ma'am. No, ma'am. You have to learn French, and then you have to apply an internship. And the international court is in Hague, and the European Commission is in Brussels. They both need French. So you should know French. That's a legal language there, spoken.
And if I want to work in the India UN, like for example, we have franchise over here, right, for the UN. The people work in NGOs or something like that. So if I want to work over there in India itself, then still I need to know the French to coordinate on calls with the head office over there, or till that I can go with English.
I would like to know that where do you want to work? Do you want to work with the European nation? Do you want to work with the United Nation? Because every countries have the different law.
Yeah, that I agree with. The fact is, I just want to get an experience because right now I'm a first year law student, so I'm just exploring things. So I was quite interested in IR and politics because I'm a political student and I'm doing a master's in political science simultaneously. So I
Very
have
good.
also chosen up the subjects which are related to UN and IR and everything. So I have a quite interest into it, but the procedure and there is a long term to reach over there. Like आधी जिंदगी निकल जाती है तुम्हारी इससे.
मैंने भी यही सोचा था. मैंने भी यही. But the thing is that when I went to the International Court of Justice, I said, why didn't I come here before? I thought the same thing, but it is quite easy. You have to just get your degree and go to their site, learn everything. There is a form to be filled, fill it, ask for the internship, and it is very easy to get it. In the when you're talking about United Nations, you know English well and
Yeah, I
good.
know.
Go
Yeah.
and try on their sites. They have their left side which is written for internship. We don't even try anything. We are so stuck in our daily lives that we don't explore. We do not read. Go on their sites. They offer internships. Some are paid, some are not paid. So you
Okay.
can just go on their sites, apply for internship, and then you get an answer back. I saw so many Indians working in the International Court of Justice, and it just made me feel so proud. And the only thing that they just went on the site, applied for their internship, learned French from a class. Every other classes there are availability of learning different languages like Japanese, French. So
Yeah.
learn French. You can
French
just go and practice.
French part is okay, but for example, now I am as a beginner. If I see it in India, for example, in Mumbai, I live in Mumbai. So if I see it over here, can I get internship in UN headquarters? Not as
Of
headquarters. I'm saying,
course, you can. You
the
could
UN
go and
branches we
open
have.
this.
So over there, I can apply, which are basically in Bandra, UNICEF, or CRY, which we have, for which fight for India, like the basic culture, like everything has the base, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so I can apply over there. For that, I need French, or that I can go with English. It's fine.
French, I will repeat again. French is for International Court of Justice
Okay, only for the ICJ.
and also for the European Commission. When you talk about European nation, it has 72 countries.
Yeah.
So their French is important. When you're talking about United Nations, I don't think so French is important.
Okay.
So all these informations you have to collect. Where there is a will, there is a way. So go to their site, read it completely, put your CV there, but you're still learning, get your degree, and then you put your CV there, and definitely you'll get an internship. It is not that hard. And Indians
Okay.
are
So for UN, I can apply with English. So French is not needed.
no.
And for the normal
For
branches
the
we have in
European
Mumbai,
nation, the other 72 Euro nations, French
yeah.
is the only legal language that you should know. Then
Okay.
only they will entertain you.
Okay, fine.
I hope I've cleared that question. I hope to
Yeah.
see you at International Court of Justice.
Thank you.
So we have less time. Anybody come? Anybody? Any questions?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, dear. Please speak a little louder.
Ma'am, actually, I wanted to ask, like, Bombay High Court in their judgment, they said that POSH Act 2013 does not apply to female advocates, as there is no employer or employer relationship with bar council and associations. So, ma'am, what are your thoughts on this judgment? Is it really necessary? What was the necessity behind it, and is it wrong or right?
Avantika, I would like to represent you that what are lawyers? What are advocates? Advocates are the pillar of the Constitution. They are the ones who stand and fight what is wrong and what is right. Why do you want a bifurcation of gens and gender and there a bifurcation of ladies and gents there? So all are equal there. So if I'm fighting with a man lawyer, does it make me less? And who told you that a woman cannot go and file a report against any kind of sexual harassments and any kind of offenses which was done by the gents? The bar council itself, you have to file. Go make a report, whoever has done, a senior or a junior, make a report and go to the bar council and file it there. We have a bar council who's protected us with all those rights. File itself there. We don't need any police station to get filed. We are the ones who fight. So our protection is the bar council. Our protection, you have to speak to a protection and put upon that this, I'm going through all this, and they will, of course, the court will talk about it. You will be called, you will be questioned, and you have to prove it out there. And for the advocates, the bar council, you have to complain. And kindly do not go, every advocate here, if there are advocates here or there are learners here, what was always when I was wanting to learn law or when I was learning law, when I used to see something wrong, I said, why can't I bring a change? Why can't I bring a landmark judgment? I will do this. Instead of questioning the landmark judgment, why don't you get up and bring a judgment? Stand up and bring a judgment so we can look upon you. Okay, so Avantika Trivedi has got us a judgment here. So right now, can we be a change? So you have the thing that you can complain to the bar council itself and they will take the wanted actions on them. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your guidance.
And there is as nothing as a woman lawyer cannot file a rape case or something like that. A woman can file a rape case wherever it is needed. In the police station, at the bar council, everywhere. And Supreme Court judgments are always dependent on the situation also. Every situation is different. For example, if I speak here, I would want to talk about, if I speak here, then we'll take an example that there is a first year or second year student and she's working as an intern in a very big firm. So there, if any sexual harassment is there by the seniors, she is open to file it in the police. She's open to file it in the bar council. Which judgment says no to it? It is always, the judgment is situational. Remember that. Every law has its answer. That is why I told you the Indian justice system, the Indian constitution, our Indian judiciary is a wonderful judiciary. Amantika, if you're facing such things, please get up and file it. As an advocate, we are accepted. And we are most welcome in the Bar Council.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, dear. Any other questions? I hope you guys learned something, got educated on some points about our equality, about our right, about being aware, about standing up for a right, whether it can be sexual harassment, it can be relatives, it can be anybody. Please stand up for your right. Do not let it be a dowry act. If it is not, if the relationship is going on money, it is better that we do not keep it. Mr. Ravindra, it was nice having you on my webinar. And yes, thank you, everybody. And if there is any question, I have a minute more.
Any further questions from the participants? No, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to extend our deepest gratitude. And you truly have a very flexible and open thought process while addressing our concerns. Thank you for keeping the session so interactive. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I
It's my
also,
pleasure.
thank you, ma'am. I also would like to thank all the participants who joined this meeting, and a heartfelt thanks to Law Chemie for their hard work in organizing this event. With
Yeah.
that, we officially conclude today's webinar. Also, there's an instruction for the participants. Everyone who attended today's session shall write a review of the webinar to receive the e-certificates.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Be
Have a
aware of your right. Women, stand
yes.
up. We are no less. Mr. Ravindra, everybody, have a good day. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Pledged, obliged.